this genuinely does look like someone's just kind of made a move, bought out some stock, and is trying to make it look a whole lot more valuable than it actually is. But hey, if they keep it up throughout the rest of this year, it will, of course, be valuable, you know. And some people very likely might be buying it. So yeah, very odd skin, limited supply, very easy to manipulate, because it's not too hard to get the majority of stock, is it? And with the majority of the stock, you can start playing some fun games with it. You can make it appear to be a lot more valuable than what it actually is. And you know what, chat? We could actually turn this into a bit of a talk. So sit back and relax. I think we could probably have this maybe become a video. Right, so if I was to go over to the likes of the Rust front page right now, Rust front page of the Steam market, every now and then you might see something very randomly on the front page here. Something that might stand out a little bit odd with like very low quantity and very strangely a higher price. And just a good hour or so ago we saw the likes of this Rock from Hell. Now for some strange reason this Rock from Hell right here is currently selling for $5 a piece, or rather it's listed at $5 a piece. What's going on? Wasn't this selling for like $2 not too long ago? You are correct. As I scroll down over to here, you might notice that we've been seeing quite a lot of sales as of recent, but if we look at its overall history, it's just kind of been a bit of a downward trend. If you can recall, this rock sold for like $4.49 last year, and I can quickly confirm that. So if I just go over to here, Rock from Hell, this did in fact sell for $4.49. Yeah, I'm correct. But there's another notable thing that I want to bring up to you. With the likes of SCMM, we can also see if this skin is listed on third-party sites. Do you notice how there's none of them on the third-party sites at the moment? Now, this one's a little bit odd to me because this skin did about 19,000 bare minimum sales, like 19,000 subscribers. And yet, it's being pumped, it's being manipulated. Yes, someone's walked in and just bought out a chunk of the stock multiple times. So if I show liquidity over to here, the blue line refers to, well, sales. And if we look at more specifically about a good few months back, initially the sale price was very, very, very stable. From what you can see here, it was sitting here at about $1.30 each. $1.30. And yet, for some strange reason, it starts to go, blah, 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 blah. What's going on? Can you see this initial buyout here? Someone walked in at the very beginning of April and bought over 100 Rock from Hells. And, well, over the course of that time, he's just kind of bought out another chunk, waited a while, bought out another chunk, waited a while, bought out another chunk, waited a while, bought out another chunk. So many got bought here that I can't even see it. And yet now, if I remove this and look at the recent sales that we've had, you could see that we are now boosted up to $5. Very nice, very cool. This is one individual buying out all the stock, getting the majority of the stock, or rather the active stock. There's nothing on the third-party sites. We only have the Steam market to reference to. And most people, by default, will look at that and assume, okay, well, this is worth $5 now. Now, this has only been a whole bunch of buyouts. I can't confirm it's actually going to rise up in price. There still has to be enough genuine interest where we will see the likes of the buyouts slowly pile up to really sit here and say, okay, now it's worth that price. But quite a lot of manipulators will buy out certain skins and then put the buyouts down themselves, trying to trick as many people as they can, or more specifically, most likely third-party sites, and of course, the gambling sites. The gambling and the third-party sites, they probably only ever look at the likes of the Steam market to get a good idea of what the current value is for certain skins. Now, smarter websites, they would actually kind of look at averages over the course of the month, maybe a year or so, and plus, if they've noticed that price changes have happened, they'll probably sit there and say, by default, we're not going to accept these skins because we've noticed some suspicious activity. Oh, I've run out a bit of breath there. Suspicious activity. Some of these websites can actually track it now. But there's a lot of random pop-up sites, dodgy ones, that will appear, and whilst they are probably not being very fair to the people who engage with them and whatnot, a lot of people might just try and trick them and try and walk away with all their valuable loot, all of the valuable things that they have available to trade. So yeah, I'm sitting here talking about like those Russian websites and whatnot. You might not be fully aware of them, but there are quite a lot of them. And plus, again, there's various other websites in other countries and whatnot. There are some very notable ones that you're probably well aware, but those notable ones are going to be a lot more wary of this type of situation with inflated skin prices and whatnot. Someone's just listed theirs at $3.80. What are you doing that for, you fool? Kua, no! Right, anyway. it's not just this though. Recently, I've been seeing the likes of this wrapped furnace having a bit of a strange activity. What are you talking about? It's got like Buyouts only going up to 50 cents, and it's only sitting here at $1. What if I told you it was actually much cheaper than $1? What if I told you over the course of the past few months since the last Christmas, because this came out last Christmas. Problem is, it's no longer Christmas. And like most Christmas skins, they've gone down in price quite a fair bit. But much like how I started talking about the likes of the that Christmas tree door initially, lots of people recently have been buying out Christmas skins because it's around here where most Christmas skins will only slowly, gradually rise up in price in the lead up towards the likes of November and December. If you wish to invest this early into the year, it's not that much of a bad idea. And like most Christmas themed skins, they just went down, reached a very low point around March, April time, and it's more recently where we noticed a lot more sales happening and prices starting to improve. But more specifically the likes of this skin, if I show liquidity, you could see that there's been quite a lot of very random purchases going on. Whilst it was a bit stable here, it's starting to rise up quite a fair bit, quite a lot of volume of sales here as well. So, what's going on? People have started to do their buyouts. People have started to try and make this a lot more valuable than what it actually is. Now, right now, it's only $1, but if I sat here and said this was probably only selling for about 50 cents a good few weeks back, don't be surprised. Nobody cared for this. I'm very sorry to say, but hardly anyone cared for this. It's not Christmas anymore. Nobody really feels the need to buy it. And if you were to go look this up on the likes of SEMM just to see how many of these are on the likes of the third-party sites, get a quick look at this. You will see that there's probably not that many, or the people who are trying to manipulate this haven't targeted the third-party sites yet. For some strange reason, it's not showing it, so why don't we actually go to last Christmas and go see if we can find that week itself. Last Christmas. I'm trying to find the skin. For some strange reason, it's appeared right here, but I'm not gonna click it right now. I'm gonna click here instead. Right, so on the third-party sites, there's not actually many of them on the third-party sites. Funnily enough, I happen to be one of the people that owns a lot of them. I'm not involved in any funny business. I just bought a whole bunch of them for super cheap because I'm an idiot. Even for my cheap price, I still ended up paying too much. But anyway, don't be surprised if the people who are trying to manipulate skins have private accounts that can't be seen by SEMM. Those would be smarter individuals. Not everybody is quite smart though. If we quickly go back to the likes of the Rock from Hell, we can quite literally see the person who's been buying all the Rock from Hells. Which, if we were to go over to here, you can see his account right there. I can't pronounce that name, but apparently his original name was like Virus6611 or something. We'll see that in a second because SEMM will quite literally show you inventories. And yeah, okay, he tried his best to hide it, but it's too late. We can already see it's you. We can actually find your Steam account and whatnot. We've caught you. So, I mean, you can keep doing what you want to do. I'm not going to be upset with that because I can sell my Rock from Hells to you for a higher price. I'm fine with that. Anyway, let's go over to here and let's quickly just go over this. Over the course of the next few months, this potentially might randomly get inflated, might randomly go up to about $3 or $4 or $5, or maybe it just genuinely is people investing into Christmas skins. You got to wait and see. But don't be surprised. Maybe go buy a couple for yourself and see if it goes up even higher. What if I go over to the likes of here? What do we have here? This is another buyout situation. I've got to get this point across. People who do buyouts are people who are starting off potentially a brand new manipulation, but they don't always follow up with that. Now, you've also got to take into consideration some of these items have very low quantity. And it simply could be a case of there's just not enough supply to be put on the Steam market again to then, of course, kind of keep prices stable. So what's going on here with the Army Miner's hat? Well, right now it's currently listed at $230. And you're going to sit there and say, wow, it's $230? Well, no, that's its listing. It doesn't necessarily mean people are paying that price. If we look at its sales history, you'll see for yourself that, well, I mean, it's been trending upwards ever so nicely. But yet again, very old skin. We don't get Miner's hat skins anymore. There's limited options. That's not surprising to see it's trending upwards like that. However, you do have to take into consideration, are there any signs of potential, people trying to buy this out? I don't really think so, because, okay, let's go to a month. Yeah, I mean, it's probably done, like a few sales this entire month. It's just incredibly low supply. So what's left now is just what's left that's available. So if you're going to, I'll say this again, if you're going to sit there and say it's $230 now, no, it's not. Will that person right there probably remove their listing and list it at a lower price? It's up to them. They don't have to. But the buy orders here are obviously kind of natural. It doesn't really look like these are people trying to do a manipulation at the current time. Again, you could look at third-party sites, but again, there's hardly any of these that exist. I think this is totally normal. It is a bit absurd if they try to do such a thing like this, but that wouldn't be it wouldn't be uncommon. If we quickly hop over to here, we've seen the likes of the Easter Farm door. This has been going on for about 5 weeks now. The amount of money that has been put into this, like, you can figure out that this guy, it's just one individual that's been buying all of these ever since we had that Easter Rust store at the very beginning of April. He has been buying these wooden doors non-stop. Now, this wooden door right here, nobody cared for it, nobody wants it, nobody really likes it. I'm sorry to say, but it's not worth $25. I've had a video that I made discussing this, and well, back then we had Benji in my server. He sold like 100 of these, and he walked away with like several $1,000s. Then we had Flox pretty much do the exact same thing. He walked away with even more. It's expected that this guy has probably spent around $30,000 just to make sure that this looks as if it's valuable skin, sitting there at $25. I also wouldn't be surprised that the exact same person who is manipulating this is also the person listing 10 and 15. Like, think logically. If you own this door, why would you try and sell it for $25.10 when you could just sell it for $24.90? Would that 20 cents difference really make that much of a difference? No. You'd just sell it to it, wouldn't you? It'd be silly to try and get an extra 20 cents out of it. So yeah, the same guy who is buying these for $25 is also the same guy selling them for $25. But what's the ulterior motive? What is he trying to get to? What's the end goal? We don't fully know. Why would you spend $30,000 doing this? How on earth is that going to lead to some form of success? So we've also considered this now, that maybe it's not just people trying to manipulate third-party sites and gambling sites, but it probably is the gambling sites and the third-party sites themselves. They could manipulate a skin, or rather, the process would be, they'd buy out the vast majority of the stock of a certain skin, make it so other people can't really afford it. You get the idea. They would inflate the value. You can see here that whilst they've got listings here at $25, they can also add their own buy orders to make it seem that it's actually worth that price. And then, well, when people want to cash out on those websites and whatnot, people could just turn around, or the people running the site could turn around and give them the likes of this Easter Farm door. And they can just instantly, one day, maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe next year, just say, you know what, we're not going to support this door anymore. They'll remove all the buy orders, they'll remove all the listings, and suddenly it'll just drop down to nothing, because nobody actually cared for that door right there. Yes, some of these buy orders might actually be random people and whatnot, but can you see how it just dramatically drops off? And the actual genuine buy orders are only around $1 each. And then below. Because we were there. We did the buy orders on this door. None of us actually cared for it. We know this only did about 3,000 sales in total, but again, that's also reflecting the fact that nobody cared for it. And I can just quickly confirm that to you real quickly. If we go to Easter 2024, Part 1, and you just scroll down over to here. Yep, I can't even see it. Where is it? Oh, no, it was week 2. Sorry about that. It was week 2. Here we are. Yeah, so that only did about 3,000 sales bare minimum. Nobody cared for it. Do you think that's worth $25 now? No, it's manipulation. Right, so we've had our discussion in regards to the Easter Farm door, but I wanted to show off to you something that's selling for a much higher price, or rather, it appears to be. Direct Threat Sap, one of the glow-in-the-dark semi-automatic pistol skins. Look over to here, you can see buy orders pushing up to around $100, and we've got listings of, well, over $100. But is it actually worth this price? So, by default, a lot of people would only see this, okay? This is what the average person sees. But I have my extension Steam Inventory Helper that lets me see a whole lot more orders, a lot more buy orders. And it does kind of randomly go from $30 to $40 and instantly boosts up to 60 and 70 and, well, all the way up there. And it's all just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All right, so what's going on? Well, to really confirm if something's being pumped, we go look at the sales history itself, and, well, that looks a bit weird. And if we actually go back for its lifetime sales, all right, it's steadily increasing in price, but more specifically, what's going on here? So I'll sit here and say, for a good year or so, since last summer, this has steadily been sitting at around $30, $40. That's been its price. It's fairly old skin, glows in the dark, very notable, people like it. That's fine, we can respect that. Why is it suddenly selling for about 3 times the price? Well, like I said, it's an old skin. There's only so many of these in circulation. It was ripe for manipulation. So we go look at the likes of SCMM right now. We go look for Direct Threat. Will we see a whole bunch of them on the likes of the third-party sites? And the answer is no. What do you think happened? The people who are manipulating this bought out all the ones on the third-party sites. They grabbed what they could. Apparently, there's only like 100 of these in circulation, right? Yeah? They bought out the vast majority of the stock on the Steam market, and with the majority of the stock, they can manipulate the price. Do we see any groups here with multiples, like 20, 30, 40 of them? No. They've got their accounts private. SEMM can't see them because they're smart with this. So, as we look over to the likes of that direct threat SAP, this potentially might be tricking some sort of website at some point soon. I will reiterate, it's not worth that price. Its actual price is around $30 to $40. They'll probably keep this up for a while. They'll probably have it so you see this listing right there. They'll probably have someone buy it. Oh, it probably is one of the people involved with the manipulation. Yes, they probably lose about 5% of the money, but to trick certain websites and walk away with genuine valuable skins, like they could probably inflate the value of this, which was selling for $30 to $40, make it appear to be 5 times the value, and then they could trade those over for like a big grin or something that's actually super valuable and worth its price, and won't dramatically lose its price suddenly when the manipulation goes down, such as this. So, do you understand that? Once they stop supporting it, the price will go back down again. All these buy orders from there to over to here will disappear. Now, in between here, there might be 1 or 2 genuine buy orders from people who actually want to buy this. I will acknowledge that. But the majority of what you see there, I can't help but assume it is the manipulators themselves. Tip shots, we already discussed that. Sorry, we'll go over that in a second, but I'm kind of turning this into a video now. Right, then we got the likes of some LR300. So quite recently, we've had the changes to the LR300, and we've been very happy about that. If we could quickly take a look at all of these LR300s, most notably, the LR300s that have been rising in price ever so nicely are the ones that are from notable collections. So as we scroll down over to here, Arctic Skull is now boosted up to around $5. We've also got the likes of the Redemption LR boosting up to around $5. And if we go look at the likes of the Blackout LR, that did go up to $5. A few more listings have appeared that kind of lowered the price, but you get the idea. These are notable collections that people like. Well, why am I bringing up the likes of the Cybercode LR300? And also, why will I be bringing up the likes of this holographic LR300? Well, when I talked about the LR300s in the video quite recently, if I go over to the likes of here, yep, here we are, I said we need to start keeping track of LR300 skins, because we need to see, well, are people jumping in? Are people buying them out? Are prices improving? Because, of course, the buffs have been added, and the LR300 is a beautiful assault rifle right now. But I had to bring up that 2 skins are not to be trusted, and that is one of them. What's going on? I'm looking at this, and it's $4. It's got barders going up to $3. Hedge, surely that's all right, right? Where more recently, maybe some genuine barders have been put down. Cool, but if we kind of go over to here, the barders kind of do dramatically drop off around all the way over to here. So let's just go and show you the sales history, and you might notice something. Yeah, it just kind of randomly went, whoop. Yep, so that happened. Now, I'm not sure if this is proper genuine interest. It's not like it dramatically goes up like a step, but as you can see here, it's only been going upwards for a fairly long time. Now, I actually own a few of these, and I've sold them, and the accounts that bought them have, like, no details to them. It's like a completely barren account, no friends. It might say, oh, it's in a big group, and it'll be something very generic, like the Steam, the big Steam group, or like it'll be like some sort of Counter-Strike group, or whatever. You get the idea. It's trying to pretend it's just like some random person, when the reality is it's just a random dud alt account, which is purely there to just buy things. Buy manipulated skins. So from what we can see here, it's been trending ever so nicely upwards. However, now it looks like it might settle at a fairly decent price because people are actively looking for good-looking LR300s because they like using the weapon now. The buffs have made it oh so much more popular. But if I were to show the likes of the holographic LR300, this one's a lot more noticeable. As I scroll down over to here, its price has been quite funny. So as you can see, for a fairly long time, because it's existed for a very long time, yeah, there was a period of time around OTV era where it was a very high price, but that dropped off, and it dropped off dramatically because the LR300 for a very long time has not been a very enjoyable weapon to use, and the skin prices have reflected that. So this just kept going down and down and down, and nobody cared for it, and as you can see here, it was at best maybe selling for about $3 back in 2023, and fairly recently it was going down to around $2 towards the end of last year. But as we approach this year, early this year in 2024, you see some very weird behavior going on, which just kind of going up in steps and then dramatically rises. So what's going on? Well, that is clearly a pump. They were going through phases in which they bought it out and then bought it out and then bought it out. But the thing is now, because we've seen the likes of the buffs going through, this has kind of disguised itself as genuine interest, and this actually might actually work out quite alright for the minute platers, where the price actually manages to stay where it is. Now, good few days ago, it was cheaper. It was only selling for around $15. And as you can see, we have Barter's only going up to about $15. But now we can see here that it's currently up to $23 with its lowest listing. What if we saw more orders? What do we see? Well, you can see there's quite a lot of thick Barter's there, all just below $10. But then it does kind of drop off down to over to here. And then you see the actual genuine Barter's here of like 10, 19, 31 and whatnot. Well, that's only around $1.50. So I just want to point out, yes, this was a minute plated skin. However, I feel like that might end up sticking at around a higher price now because, of course, genuine interest, and people are looking for notable, interesting LR300s to chase after. If I were to show you another skin that would have genuine interest, that would be the likes of the Daemon Strike, the only LR300 with a glow-in-the-dark aim sight. As we look over to here, about a good 2-3 weeks ago, the Daemon Strike was only selling for around, if I can recall, it was selling for just around $20. As you can see now, it's selling for $40. This is genuine interest. Buyouts have appeared. They've been rising up, with the price rising up. This had very low quantity to begin with. I bought one for a friend, and if we go over to here, you can see, well, it was fairly stable for a very decent amount of time, as you can see here. Kind of went up during the good times, went down a fair bit during like some February, March, but very, very recently it's been going up by quite a lot. That's genuine interest. Now, that isn't that many sales either. If I show liquidity, you can see that we had 9 sales on May 2nd. What happened on May 2nd? That's when the introduction of the buffs came for the LR300, the May Force Wipe update. So yes, this is getting bought out because people are interested in LR300s. A big contrast in difference compared to the likes of that holographic LR300. From what you can see here, this happened in stages before we even had those buffs, before we even had mentions of the buffs coming during the likes of April, because this all kicked off around the beginning of this year. So yeah, don't be fooled by something like that. That right there is a manipulation. There's quite a story to it, but I'm sure you get the idea. Right, now, if we quickly hop over to here, we've already discussed you. Now we can also bring up something newer. So, identifying newer pumps. Yep. This right here got bought out today. Let's just quickly refresh. So, by default, you might notice something. I'm just quickly refreshing it just to make sure that we are fully up to date. It's listed at $10, and the Buyouts are only gone up to $1.50-ish. And as you look over to here, genuine Buyouts all around here. It's fairly cheap. Nobody cares for this skin. It's a fairly older skin. Nobody actually cares for it. So first things first, let's go to Estimento APP. Let's look up the likes of that Doombringer. Does it have any listings on the likes of those third-party sites and whatnot? Well, the answer is not really, no. No. And we do see there's an unknown account right there that has 38 of them. So what I'm trying to get across is people have bought them out from the likes of the third-party sites. And today, we've just seen someone buy them out on the Steam market. And if we look at its overall history, well, you can see that today someone bought out 18 of them. If we look at its actual long-term history, well, it looks like it's been manipulated before. From what you can see there, back in what, like May 2023? Oh, it's its anniversary. We'll do it all over again. Well, as you can see, that went all the way up to about $15. And then it just went back down to over here. Nobody actually cares for this skin. This has been sitting at around $1 for like the past year. No one cares for it. And now suddenly it goes back up to what appears to be $10 again. No, it's not an actual demand. It's not actual demand. It's a pump. It's happening all over again. The beginning of a brand new pump. So this is what's likely going to happen. The people here have done their initial buyout. They'll probably wait a good few days, wait and see if anybody else wants to list theirs. You know, they'll probably undercut it because, again, people would notice that this has probably gone up in price and they might own some in their own inventory and they might try and list theirs for like $5, try and get something that's still good price but fairly lower compared to what the competition is. And you know what the people that are manipulating will do? They'll just buy it. They'll just buy it. And then they'll probably pump this up to about $15 again. Maybe $20. Who knows? But they can because they have the majority of the stock. And again, you might see a second buyout potentially happen in about a week or two's time. And then progress will happen. And, well, we've seen another skin that's had that progress start to happen. So if I go over to here to like this Retro Blast MP5, this is currently listed at $3. It's got Buyouts going all the way up to $2. Wow, surely that's genuine interest? No. As you can see, the genuine interest actually ends at around just over $1. But then we have these 3 random slots of buy orders right here. What's going on? Those are the people that are trying to manipulate it. And I will sit here and say this exact same thing happened a good month or so ago because I was one of the people that sold to them. So if I just quickly hide liquidity, show you its history over the course of just a few months, you can see that there was a bit of a spike in price towards the very end of March. That was their first buyout. And then they waited. And the price has been very stable since then, and then they've attacked again. They bought out more, and as we can see, it's looking like we'll be going through another phase of, well, potentially this will start to appear to be a whole lot more valuable, because of course the people who are manipulating it will slowly keep buying out all the stock that they can, and once they feel confident that they have the vast majority of the stock, you'll see this potentially listed at maybe $5, $7, $10. And those third-party sites better wisen up, because, well, if we quickly go over to here, the MP5, has it been cleaned out? And the answer is no, not yet, but maybe soon. Again, we look at something like this and we call it testing the waters. They're seeing if they could potentially walk away and, actually control this. If they can't, they'll just leave it. All right, they won't follow through. If they think that they can't get actual control of it, they'll just leave it. And once they drop support of it, it'll go back down in price again. Nobody will care for it. It's unfortunate, but that happens quite a lot. That does, in fact, happen quite a lot. So as you can see, for the vast majority of this skin's existence, it's been selling for barely around $1, most of the time under $1. But only recently, from around here, it's suddenly sitting at around $2+. Manipulators. So yeah, a lot is going on at the moment in terms of the Steam market. Lots of very interesting activity in terms of manipulations. You might sit there and say, Hedge, are manipulators bad? Well, I'll sit here and say this. By default, in real life, people manipulating stocks, that's probably not, legal. So by default, I guess you can sit there and say it's bad. But if it's people like tricking dodgy third-party sites and gambling sites and whatnot, meh. That's not my problem. But if they're actively trying to trick normal, regular people, yeah, that would be pretty scummy. I would sit there and say that. So, yeah, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Chat, I haven't looked over to you for quite some time, have I? Mr. Glassholio's just posted an inventory link. I'm very sorry about that. I was in the flow. I was enjoying myself there. I was going non-stop. But I was also kind of prepared to talk about that. Like, the fact that we started off with the likes of that Christmas tree door really was quite funny. But, yeah. There's a big difference between, getting the early investments to likes of those Christmas skins and, actively trying to pump up a Christmas skin. But that right there, it could be the same thing. It could be both, Right. Shub, what are you posting this inventory link for? What's all this about? I don't know what you're posting your inventories for, but that's no good to me. Perfect time for manipulations to start on the LR300s and custom SMGs if they've had a buff and no one could tell easily whether it's genuine demand or a pump. Yeah, that's honestly why I had to make a big fuss about why people should be wary of certain LR300s. I did mention that in the LR300 buffs video, so yeah, I didn't talk about it to a significant amount of extent, but I have here, so now they understand if they watch this video as well. But yeah, be cautious. Don't accidentally buy a skin that's being pumped. Go through the same details. Match up and see, well, do the buy orders actually match up with the actual price? Then look at the sales history. And if you've seen it's been very tame for a while and just dramatically goes up in price very recently, yeah, that's been pumped. And, well, you should just avoid that. Don't buy any skins that are being inflated. Just wait a while, and eventually, once they stop supporting the pump, the value will drop down pretty hard. Or just look for an alternative skin that's just as good, that's, still a much more affordable price. Right, so, I've had a look at the changes to gunplay. The LR300 buff honestly could have a good impact. Yeah, no, loads of people have said exactly the same thing. We'll just have to wait and see, because as I said initially, the LR300s that are part of notable collections are the ones that are most likely to get bought out first, but the vast majority of those LR300s definitely need a lot more support. I'm not sitting here saying manipulate them. I'm sitting there and saying we have to see if the genuine demand is there for loads of people to buy out, well, all the standard other LR300s. Now, I'd show them all off to you right now, but SCMM's had a bit of stage fright, but we saw it all earlier. I'm sure you understand that. So, chat, I hope that ramble, that yapping session, that, yeah, it went on for a long time. My name is Hedge, and that was my TED Talk. Keep an eye out for those manipulations. Don't accidentally buy into them. And I will also point this out to you. If you ever just want to look and try and identify certain random skins that get manipulated, number one, always look at the likes of the Rust front page. But what you could also do is search by quantity. Search for the lowest quantities, and just go through the first few pages. And you might notice something that doesn't really belong, that has very low quantity and a very high price. And if you actually look at it, you might notice, oh, okay, well, that's clearly get manipulated. Pumpkin bow. Oh, that's a perfect option. There we are. Do you remember Halloween last year when we had a glow-in-the-dark hunting bow skin that nobody wanted? Well, you're looking at it right there. Nobody wanted it. But hang on a minute. It's sitting there at $4 a piece. Hedge, what's going on? Well, do you see that barda right there? Ah, if we look at the actual listings, it drops off dramatically. What's going on? It's being manipulated. Right, so the sheer lack of quantity on the Steam market. As I scroll down over to here, I look at its sales history, and bam. Nobody cared about you for a very long time, selling below $1, but it just dramatically goes up a step. What's going on there? That was the initial buyout. And then they waited a while, they did another buyout, they waited a while, and now they're cruising in, trying to make this look to be a lot more valuable than what it actually is. So there you go, that was very quick, that was very easy. That came out recently-ish, that was last Halloween. So again, it was quite a few months back, and more, but you know what I mean. It came out 2023. That shouldn't really be incredibly low quantity at quite a high price. It's a glow-in-the-dark weapon. People do not want glow-in-the-dark weapons. We know that. All right? So, there you go. That's all you got to do. Just look at low quantities, scroll through these pages. You'll see that something looks a bit odd. You can go look at it yourself, and hey, you might notice another pump. And if you're like me, where you end up doing barders and everything, and you end up owning a lot of skins, you just might end up having a skin that you own being manipulated. And, well, let them do what they're doing, wait a while, let that price rise up, sell at just the right time, and you'll walk away with a lovely big fat chunk of profit. It's quite nice. That's half the reason why I can't really be upset at these manipulations, because of course, I can sell them and get some Steam Wallet, yes! But don't get involved in this. It doesn't seem like it's going to be okay, so just let things happen and just take a step back. So, right then, so that's that. Thank you very much for listening to that. And yeah, that'll probably be the video now. So, cool. Double thumbs up. Catch you later. Have a nice time. And best of luck with your investments. So, tip is there still. I can talk a little bit more about it. Digital Camo AK-47. Is that worth that price? Probably not. No. Let's go find out. $8.50 here. $5 here. Oh, it's lost its Oh, it's over. There you go. Right, you know what? We should probably add that on to the likes of the video that would be produced. So what are we looking at here? Digital Camo AK-47 was a skin that was pumped up, but once the support ends, the price descends. Right, so for a very long time, as you can see here, during the second half of 2023, that skin was very stable at around $3. It was comfortable where it was, but once we start to hit around December, January, February, it starts to rise up in steps, doesn't it? Goes up a little bit, up a little bit, up a lot, sitting there around $40+ for a good week or so, and then the support ends, dramatically drops, and it will very likely keep dropping. So yeah, that was a skin that was manipulated, and you know what, out of curiosity, I'm just going to go over to here real quickly, Digital Camo, and let's see if we can spot it on third-party sites and whatnot. Probably not the big ones, but we'll see, So, what's the outcome? Oh, it's quite a lot of them spread about. Well then, what do you reckon? 200 listed on D-Market. What? Wow, okay, well there you go. Looks like D-Market was definitely one of them. Oof. So yeah, manipulations. They keep happening. Stay on top of things. Be aware of what's going on.